We get asked a common question by many businesses that we talk with. They get a look at their competition. They start looking at actually the analytics of how much traffic online and how many ads their big competitors are running, and they just conclude there's no way they compete. Well, I want to share with you some ways that you can compete against your largest competition. I want to share ways you can bust through growth barriers by bigging up against your competition. What's bigging up? Well, it's a slang word. And if you listen to a lot of rap, you might hear it. It stands for shouting out or elevating someone to a really high degree. It's sharing respect and building yourself or someone else up. If you listen to rap, you might hear, I want to big up everyone that's shown me support over all these years, or big up on that excellent performance. So bigging or being bigged is slang to make someone important or famous. We'll do our best to big you up. This strategy is exactly what small businesses and medium-sized businesses need that are struggling to overcome what they perceive as the deficit of having big competition that owns the market. Bigging up is one of the strategies that smaller companies can use to gain ground against their larger competitors. I'm going to share 4 ways you can use this strategy to improve how well you compete against larger companies. The first one is that bigging up begins in the way you view yourself. There's a great story from the journey of the Israelites from Egypt into Canaan. When they first got on the border across the Jordan River from Canaan, they sent in their SEAL team, they sent in their Army Rangers to spy out what was going on. And these spies were totally shocked at what they discovered. They found really big people. They found giants there. And when they came back to report on their spy mission, they said they're so big that we were as if grasshoppers in their eyes. So they were pretty impressed and pretty nervous about this competition. Unfortunately, that grasshopper perspective is the same way that a lot of businesses feel as they look at their competition. And those who have an established presence online and have built a big brand in the market. Some companies that have a big impact start by believing that they actually could make a difference. And so that's where you can big up yourself, is by beginning to think about yourself differently. Just because you're small doesn't mean you can't create both profit and impact that's outsized for the size of your company. And there are benefits to being part of a big company and doing business with them. One of them is economies of scale. We all understand that they can buy things in much larger bulk, produce them, and deliver them in larger quantities. It makes it less expensive for them, but they have a lot of drawbacks too. They're slower to respond to market shifts. They have a hard time focusing on really specific niches in the market. And in their efforts to grow and scale, they often let people behind, leave them behind, make them feel insignificant. And this can even degenerate down to the point where they know if you're a customer of this big company, you're not going to get much attention because you're not a very big account. People understand this. They know they're getting some benefits from working with a big company, but they're also nervous about how well they're going to be supported. Bigging up really starts in the way that you think about yourself and your company, the way you talk with yourself and your team, and the way that you deliver your products and services to your customers. Small thinking results in small outcomes. And being a best-in-class company does not depend upon that size of your company. Another way you can big up is by being better and good at using testimonials along with the social proof of having good vendors and partners. Of course, a lot of people do this on their websites. You'll see testimonial little one-liners with a little teeny picture. You'll see lots of logos scrolling across the screen. And that's what everyone does. People come to expect it. So that is becoming kind of white noise in the background. You've got to up your game if you want to get the real benefit from testimonials and from credibility on your website. Here's a couple ways you can do that. Be super intentional about the way you collect testimonials. Ask your customers for them directly and ask them at different phases of the process to collect those testimonials. Ask them specifically to talk about the experience they had, the emotions of getting the services you provide, not just the facts of the service. Collect those very intentionally and do it on a regular basis. The second thing you need to think about is that many companies need to actually be on a dedicated hunt to find and work with customers that can become case studies. There's a period of time in the growth of a company in which the only people you should be really trying to find and work for are the ones who can become case studies. They are going to become the social proof that you need to grow. That's a powerful tool for bigging up. You can also get the big up effect with testimonials if you move from just single one-liners with a little teeny picture to actually getting videos from your customers. Work on asking your good customers if they will make a short video. It doesn't matter if they pick up their phone and do it, and talk about the experience of having you work for them. Those videos are much more powerful and they get a lot more attention than any one-liner on your website. Now, the negative element of the big up strategy is it can open the door to self-exaggeration and self-promotion. And we've all seen advertising, emails, other kinds of things on television in which there's an exaggerated sense of self. And people figure that out right away. It's always better to root your promotion in the actual differentiators that you have about your business and the good things that other people say about you. But it's also appropriate to point out the differentiators, what's different between you and your competition. But customers can tell if you are being transparent in the conversation about pros and cons, if you're really trying to help them, or if you're being entirely one-sided and just kind of doing a sales thing. So transparency is always a better approach. But let's be real. People trust what other people say about us more than they trust what we say about ourselves. So it's important that when we talk about our competition that we do not make it be a one-sided conversation, but really designed to help serve and help the client make a good decision. The third way to big up your status when it comes to your competition is to focus on a single audience. That's your specific customer. Always be focused on answering the questions that will make your company big in their eyes. The answer really to the question of how do we grow in the face of all this competition is that we have to answer the needs, questions, and challenges that our customers are feeling right now. When you speak to their greatest need, that elevates you in a very significant way in their eyes. It's pretty common, though, for larger companies to entirely miss this point altogether. They won't talk about challenges, problems, and the other things their customers are actually facing. They're going to talk only about features, benefits, and costs. It's a lot of spec sheets, and that's what the website's built around. But none of those things really will speak directly to the specific challenges that your prospect is facing right now. And the closer your messaging gets to that, the stronger the trust that you will develop. The more you dial in on these specific challenges, needs, and problems, and the desires of your prospects, the more you communicate about it, the bigger you'll become in their lives. A fourth way you can big up occurs as you ensure that you offer the same benefits as a larger company. This allows you to get past kind of the cursory surface level review of who offers what. If you offer a certain kind of software, a certain kind of hardware, a certain kind of product that the big companies do, make sure you prominently present that so that they understand that you can offer the same things that everybody else does that's larger than you. But just by having the same products and services, the same categories of products and services, it allows you to stand up against competition very effectively. Now, what many customers lose by working with smaller companies is things like guaranteed service, warranties, and other kinds of guarantees and promises. These are often lacking in small to medium-sized businesses. When people know they're dealing with a deep pocket big company, they might be nervous about the service quality, but they know if they complain enough, they'll probably get what they actually wanted. So one of the ways for you to stand out and to big up your own status in the eyes of your customers is to make sure that you are talking about what you will absolutely guarantee and promise. And a simple way to do that is think about what you would do if your service or product just failed for a customer. Would you give their money back? Would you cancel last month's payment? Would you come and fix it at no cost? Whatever you would do anyway for that problem situation, put that in writing and make that your promise. So as you're thinking about the ways that you can raise your status, you've got to start by really thinking about how you view yourself, how you collect the testimonials in a way that they'll actually get paid attention to, how you stand up against the services that others are providing. And all those together will allow you to increase your status and really take on the big guys.